Amin, how you doing? How you feeling? What you been up to?
Yeah, it's a busy day, doing all the X, Y's, and Z's, and now I freed
Do
up some.
you do you have a full-time job or do you mostly just do the social media stuff?
Yeah, I have full time. I teach full time.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
what kind of teacher are you?
I teach social studies and I teach ESL. So at the
Oh.
so like all the kids that come from different countries, I
hmm
teach them English.
I never took ESL class because my mom just threw me straight into English, even though I didn't know any English.
Oh,
But
that's good. That's good.
is it language neutral, like the Spanish kids with the kids from France and stuff? They all get thrown in the same ESL class, and
Yeah, pretty
you
much,
just
but the thing is where I teach 97, 8 maybe percent of them are Arabic speaking, and
oh,
that's why they got a guy like me.
gotcha.
And you're not fluent in Arabic, right?
No, I'm not, but I have like a lot of the kind of like the bases and the terms of endearment and the welcoming, and I'm learning a lot more. But the whole point of ESL really is to teach them English, and the number one way to do that is to use English. If they keep falling back on their native language, it'll just be a crutch, and they don't really learn. But that is another job. It's called being a bilingual educator.
Okay.
Kind of like the next level. It's like the students who are just straight from different parts. I teach the higher level ESL students, the ones who've been here for like 3 4 years. They've been here all their lives, but they don't know English.
Now, besides teaching, what other stuff do you do?
It's like the reason why I'm here, right? The social media stuff. Um, so I run a food page. Started it about 3.5 4 years ago, and I do some social media marketing and brand influencing and management, kind of like all the social media stuff on my page and other people's other businesses pages and stuff like that.
How many subscribers
How'd
do
you get
you have?
started in that? Is
Which one?
How many
Go for it, Johnny.
subscribers do you have currently?
I would say about right now, like about 178,000.
How long has it taken you to get that amount of subscribers?
In the past year, it's really grown exponentially. I think in the first 2 years, it was just really a hobby. Even the first 3 years, I didn't really think of it as something serious, and I just did it because I'm a fat kid at heart and I love food. So,
What was the turning point? When did you know, like, oh man, I think I got something here. This channel is blowing up.
I started an email. I created some, like, I looked at other people's stuff, and I was like, okay, yeah, I can easily just throw some of this information in. And I threw all that information that all these bigger influencers have in. People started emailing, people started inviting me in. And when I went into these restaurants, they started like asking me all these questions and looking at me like I was some local celebrity. So I was like, okay, so they kind of respect what I do. They respect the stuff I create. So maybe I am doing something that's different, right? But it was it was very minimal. It was kind of really slow. It was just really in the beginning taking pictures, then finally getting in for free to all these restaurants, and then right now I'm at the whole, you're getting paid to go, and sometimes I go for free depending on where the place is, things like that.
How did you originally select the places that you reviewed?
Well, when I first started the page, I met my girlfriend about 3.5 years ago. She lived in the city. And John, we're suburban kids. We live in the south suburbs. And I never really went to the city. I mean, as a kid, I went every now and again downtown, had some fun, but I didn't know the neighborhoods. I didn't know any of that stuff. So when I started dating her, I started going all these places. And what's the first thing you do when you're hanging out with a girl?
Take her out to eat, yeah. Take her
Take
to
her out
nice
to eat.
places.
So I take her to all these nice places. I'm like, bro, this looks so dope. Like like I'll never forget. the dessert dealer is a place that really put me onto it. It's like this ice cream taco, but it's like a really lavish one. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those pictures or videos. And it's just like a big ass taco waffle cone with all this ice cream in it. And I was like, man, this looks dope as hell. Let me take a picture. And then I was like, okay, I want to start a blog. And then my girlfriend was like, well, this isn't like 2000. So she's like, start an Instagram or something. So then I started an Instagram. I posted, I think the first post I had was like a Middle Eastern place because, of course I'm Middle Eastern, and it was called Sultan's Market. And it's still up on it's still up on my Instagram page. And it's like the worst picture up there, but it's a part of my process.
What took off first? Was it your Instagram or was it your TikTok?
TikTok blew me up. Without TikTok, like I wouldn't be where I am right now.
So besides that early picture, what do you think about the rest of your early content?
It was very it was whatever the hell I wanted it to be, right? Because it was something I did with nobody asking me, nobody telling me, nobody suggesting, nobody anything. And to this day, it's like that. But now when you work with bigger companies and you work with restaurants, of course they want a certain image out there to the rest of the world. But I would say the early work was just very whatever I wanted it to be. It was very like just with the wind. If I wanted to go to this restaurant, I went to this one. If I want to go to that one, I go to that one. But now it's very rigid. Now there's a routine. I have to schedule it weeks, sometimes months in advance. Sometimes I'm talking, like I said, to bigger companies, and they'll be like, okay, we want you to mention this and put these hashtags and whatnot. And completely makes sense, right? If somebody owns a restaurant or somebody owns some type of product and they want it that way, that's completely fine. But it was the beginning content was just learning and doing whatever the hell I wanted, really.
Restrictions that the companies put, does that take away from the experience because you don't have freedom anymore?
Sometimes I don't feel like I don't have freedom. I feel like I can do what I want, but sometimes it actually is a big help because, and I think one of these questions you guys sent to me is what is the most challenging part of the job, of the social media part?
Mm-hmm.
It's creating, something new and original times 5, 6, 10, 20 times a week. You know what I mean? So I think it's almost helpful. I kind of like it because it gives me direction, where I don't have to spend as much time coming out of thin air, all this stuff. But sometimes it's a little like you get a company who's bigger. Like I worked with Culver's and Giordano's, and I've worked with Kind snack
Oh,
bars, and I've worked with like these bigger companies, and they want specific things, and I respect that because that's what's worked for them. And there's a lot of things that you have to do legally when you're working with an influencer and you're a bigger company. So legally speaking, they need you to put like certain ad tags, they need you to put certain stuff out there. You can't use certain music because it's copyright and all that kind of stuff.
I was gonna say your videos look really good. Are now that you've gotten a little bigger, are you still using like a cell phone setup or do you have like a DSLR? Do you put these in like Premiere or are you still just running gun or a little higher tech?
This is all on the cell phone.
All on the cell phone? Oh.
I started with an XR, and now I'm at a 13 Pro. I just have the best possible phone I could have, but I haven't really gotten into the whole video camera stuff. It's really all about lighting. I have a lighting manipulation though, and it's called a little Ulanzi holder. It kind of keeps your hand steady, and it allows you to manipulate the lighting at whatever temperature and warmth you want it to be at. So the number one thing for me was lighting, but no heavy duty cameras. Maybe in the future that's the way Chicago Food Guide will go, but I need to educate myself on how to take, professional videos and whatnot. It's still very amateur. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. I think they look really good.
thanks, man. I appreciate it.
What was the first time that you went viral?
So I think it was a bar in Alsip where I was living at the time with my
Mhm.
mom and my sister, and it was called Deuce's Bar and Grill. And I went in. That was one of my that was my second or third place. that I went in as Chicago food guide. They invited me, they comped the meal, and all that kind of stuff. And that video, I believe, got like 300,000 views, and the comments were just full of like so much controversy. And it
Why?
was,
What happened?
this is, I mean, 1,000 things, man. And that those are the best posts, the ones
Mhm.
that people are fighting in the comments, the ones that are creating conversations. I mean, social media is just one big platform, and the person who survives and the person who does the best is the one that creates a platform that people want to start interacting in. You know, so you have to be controversial, and sometimes I'll specifically make mistakes. I'll say certain things in order to be controversial, but very small, nothing too crazy. But at the time, Deuce's Bar and Grill, I think they had a reputation for being very uh, right winged, very
Mm.
conservative, back the blue, and whatnot. So a lot of people were going in on the comments saying we had bad experiences and whatnot. And I make it a priority not to really intervene in all that. I just want everyone to have like a place that they could talk about that kind of stuff.
So the girl with the nails in your videos, that's your girlfriend? Because I was like, I thought like we were meeting up with a girl or something, and then Johnny's like, oh no, it's a dude. I'm like, does he have nails?
Oh, my girl is she's the hand model.
Definitely a good move for having a girl on there.
Yeah,
I like the videos more. I'm like, damn, this girl knows her food.
yeah. No, guys' hands are not as my hands are not as camera ready. She has always the newest, nicest nails, and we do that on purpose.
Hey man, I'm gonna start doing that too. I'm gonna just get put nails on myself.
There
I'll
you
be.
go.
I got feminine hands anyways.
Yeah, I have that, man. We're all inclusive here at Chicago Food Guide.
What's your like favorite video that you made? What kind of food do you like the most?
Yeah, that's the number one question everybody would ask. Like, what's your favorite place, or where would you recommend? And it really just depends what you have a taste for. There's so many
Mhm.
different places. Chicago is like the best place for food in the world, and I've gone to a lot of different places. Not as many as I'd like to yet, but I've tried a lot of different food, and Chicago is up there. Uh, there's a lot of different places that I like. There was this Colombian spot with really good steak. The way they season their steak and the beans and the rice, and they have empanadas. Very like good Colombian food. I've been to Colombia before 3 times, and um, I like the food better at this place. It's called Pueblito Viejo. It's on the
Mhm.
north side. Really good place. They've been around forever, like 30 years. Different Italian steakhouses. Gene and Giorgetti's.
Mhm.
It's Italian steakhouse in River North. It's a really nice spot. Um, something as simple as just any really be Palermo's in Oak Lawn. That's like a local place for me because I grew up in the. But for some reason, that's just my favorite. I try so many different types of pizzas. But Palermo's on 95th in Oak Lawn is just. I love that sweet sauce. The put some type of like seasoning on it. It's just great. It's really great pizza. It's one of my favorite spots, and it's a super local place. It was where I grew up in Oak Lawn. I grew up in
Mhm.
Chicago, right next door to Oak Lawn, and that was like a spot that I don't know. I just love that pizza. I genuinely believe that's like the best pizza in the world. Like I've tried a lot of pizza, and that's always my go-to.
Are you more of a deep dish or like thin crust type
Oh
of
God,
dude?
yeah, thin crust. Deep dish is like very special occasions, and it's very savory and it's very thick and it's heavy and it's good sometimes, but no, you got to go the regular, the tavern style. That's I think I think that's real Chicago pizza, not the deep dish. The deep dish it's like a touristy kind of Chicago pizza.
That's what I think too. The deep dish, of course, is more photogenic. You get all that cheese and everything,
All the
but
cheese and yeah.
the best pizza, in my opinion, too, is the thin crust.
What are some of the tips that you have for making a TikTok video go viral?
Just I would probably say just be consistent. You're gonna come out with 100 of them. but 101 is going to be the one that blows up. So just don't stop. Just keep going. Use content that you know is hitting, right? Like if you look at TikTok, the best part of it is that it's very open and very public, and you can see how many views, and you can see how many comments and shares and interactions. So look at what people are doing around you. I'm not saying do the same exact thing, but look what people are doing around you and kind of put your own, get some direction, put your flavor on it. So just be very consistent and look at those around you, especially in your market, right? Like don't be all over the place. Choose one thing, choose two things, choose, but be good at something.
And
Sorry about that.
have you noticed like any formulas for going viral?
You know, every time I do notice it, TikTok switches it up, man. Even recently, I've been having a little trouble with trying to go into the big numbers. A couple of my last videos weren't too great. I used to average, 60, 80,000 of views a video on TikTok. Now it's like, I think the last 3, 4 videos I got didn't even break 10K right now. So with time, like I said, I have a full time job. I'm teaching. I really love what I do, but it's not like I have to be good at it. It's not like I have to feed my family from it or whatever it may be. So it's just keep it light, keep it fun, create what you like to create. Don't get stressed out about it, and just be consistent.
Have you considered twerking on camera?
Yeah, definitely not. I thought about taking 2 pizzas and making it happen, but never, never twerking on camera. That usually gets you a lot of likes and views, though.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any idea of what?
I can imagine John. That's probably his whole TikTok
Uh,
algorithm.
That's
surprisingly,
mine for sure.
surprisingly, no. It's just knockouts. Like Josie, my wife was actually
So,
going through my feed, and yeah, I was surprised. No twerking videos, just knockouts and fights.
like, were you sweating when she
One
had you
thousand
home?
percent. I was like, don't let the normal stuff come
Like
out.
not another
Yeah,
knockout video.
exactly. So you said that TikTok is like changing their algorithm. Do you have any idea like what they're looking for now?
It just takes time to really get to know it. If I had to really guess, I would I would say they're kind of like moving towards the Facebook direction where you pay for views, right? You promote some videos because I get that a lot. Like I get these notifications, promote this video, and I don't know. I feel like if you do that, you're gonna never gonna stop doing it, and it's just gonna you're just wasting money, and it's not organic. It's a business, right? Like you're paying for an ad on your own, but you're an ad, so it doesn't really make sense to actually pay for sponsored videos. But I think it might be the direction they're going. I mean, it just logically speaking makes sense for them, right? People will pay to get boosted, and people do it on Facebook and Instagram all the time. I got a friend, he owns or manages a used car dealership, and they spend thousands of dollars a month just boosting ads on Facebook. So imagine Twitter does that across, or not, excuse me, Twitter, TikTok does that across, the entire country, the entire world with all the used car dealerships. I mean, that's millions of dollars. And then any other business, right? Grocery stores, restaurants, all that. So I think if I had to guess, that's where they want to go. Of course, they've been, doing stories like Instagram and Snapchat, and they've been doing kind of like those
Mhm.
picture slideshows. Have you guys seen those where you
Uh-huh.
you slide to the next picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they're trying to not just be the video reel um, platform. I think they're trying to do different things. They're even trying to be like YouTube, where you could learn so much. I've learned so much on TikTok, so I think they have a lot of things. They're a newer platform, and they're trying to adapt.
So with with them moving to a different model, do you think that eventually phases out like the people that are the account managers, like you're doing with a few businesses?
Yeah, you could, right? It's very important that you stay up with the times. So that's why I'm constantly. Not only am I like a creator on TikTok, but I'm a big consumer. I spend hours on it every day, just knowing what's going on. So when you see these new challenges and these new videos and these new songs that get dropped and all that stuff, like different type stories, you got to try it all. You can't just say, "Oh no, this new thing came out that looks stupid." Just try it. What's going to hurt? I mean, posts they delete after 24 hours on stories and videos. If you don't like it after a while, just take them down. So the guy that never changes is the guy that never grows.
And do you have a typical posting schedule?
I try to post in the morning, so I'll make the post like at night, and then before I go to work, I get up. I get up pretty early. I get up like 4:35 in the morning, and I go about getting ready. I go to the gym, or I'll go work out with this group called F3. We work out outside sometimes, and then after that, I come home and I get ready for work. And then, like literally on my way to work, all I got to do is hit post because I did all the work the night before because it's in my drafts.
Is F3 one of your clients as well?
They used to be not a client. It's a free workout men's group. It's a free men's workout group where it's all across the nation. Really, it's any man who wants to go and just work out and do your thing. I really love it. It's a great group of guys. The only equipment we use are cinder blocks. I know it sounds stupid, but you work out with some cinder blocks and you just do a lot of outdoor body workouts. And when we started, it was just me and two other guys, and we started it in the Orland Park area. They only had one in Illinois, like in the Naperville area, and I think they had some in Plainfield and whatnot. But then they moved. We started one in Orland. It was me and two and three other guys, and now I think we grew it to almost like 130 guys that consistently every now and again go. They're 7 days a week. We started doing it 2 days a week. Now there's 7 available days a week where you can work out. It's a pretty cool thing, and it's all free, right? The guy who runs it all, the one who organized it all, he works his ass off. His name's Joe, and he really put a lot of effort into making it like great for all these guys. And he did it without a dime being sent to him, or if anything, he did the opposite. He put some of his own money into it, and it's really great, beneficial for men that they could, have a safe place to work out, just talk. There's a lot of the 3 F's are fitness, fellowship, and faith. So it's not very religious group, but if you are religious, you're allowed to bring that into the realm. And it's a good. I did their TikTok for a while, and then after a while, I got my full time spot again, teaching, and I got now I have about 7 clients and my own page, so it's 8 pages, and I consistently have come up with about 3 or 4 pieces of content a week. So just do the math: 3 to 4 times 8. It's like you have to come out with 30 videos every week. So, and they all have to be creative, and they have to be original, and they have to be. That's the hardest part. So, I was lacking on it, and there was another guy who wanted to step up and do it, and I told him, yeah, go right ahead, like take that. But they were. I was helping them for a while when we first started.
How many hours a week are you spending making the TikTok videos?
It's hard to quantify. I had to guess. I would because I don't like put a timer on it, and I do it when it's convenient for me. If I had to guess, I'd probably say an hour and a half a day,
Okay.
or an hour a day, or maybe an hour every 3 days, hour and a half, 2 hours. I'll probably say 10 hours a week
Okay.
creating, and then the another 20 hours. You're just on your phone checking, and you're messaging people, and you're setting up appointments and all that. So it's very sporadic. It's a full-time job for sure.
And how many days a week are you taking pictures for the videos?
So I try to do 2 to 3 places a week on Chicago Food Guide. I recently have been, busy with my new job and with, traveling and all that kind of stuff. So I wasn't going to as many places, but the clients I try to go to once a month. So that's 7 shoots a month. And then Chicago Food Guide, try to do about 2 to 3 times a week. Go to 2 different places a week, and that helps me, get a bunch of content so that my followers are seeing different stuff, right? They're not just seeing pizza every day, or they're not just seeing the city. They're seeing some parts of the suburbs and whatnot.
And is it the owners, like, do they tell you what dishes they want to be featured, or do you have some leeway with that?
Yeah, no, like I'll go in and sometimes they won't recommend a single thing, but I always ask. I always ask. If they don't put dishes in front of me, I always ask. Even before I did Chicago Food Guide, like, what do you recommend? Right? Because when I ask someone, what do you recommend? They're usually going to recommend something they're good at, right? I mean, not everybody's perfect at making a menu, so I want to try the good thing. I want to try the thing that brings people in. I want to try the thing that I know my followers are going to like. So right away, I just ask, what do you want out there? And if they don't give me any direction, just what do you usually recommend? What do people usually order? So if you go into someone's house and they want to make you a meal, they're going to make you
Hmm.
something that they're good at, right? So it's the same thing for a restaurant. I mean, technically, a restaurant is supposed to be really good
Right.
at everything they make on the menu, but that's not the reality. Sometimes they're stronger in different things.
And what's your favorite style of food?
Yeah, it's tough. I really like Mexican food, of course, Middle Eastern food. I would say Mexican and Middle Eastern food are my
Any
two favorite
favorite
ones.
dishes?
I really like Arabic food. Love like the mixed grill stuff, like the rice and the char grilled meats, falafel, hummus, and tawama is like a garlic sauce. Hummus is hummus. um, Mexican food, like the beans, rice, and some type of like burrito or steak or something like that would be great. I love guacamole, um, things like that. I think I'm pretty average. I just like good food, clean food that
Right.
doesn't make you feel bad after you eat it.
And out of all the videos that you've made, what was the favorite restaurant that you have?
Yeah, it's tough. That's I always get asked that question, and I think I told Jose a little earlier that it like really just depends what you want. There's this place on the north side called Pueblito Viejo. It's a Colombian restaurant, really great food. I've been to Colombia like 3 times, and this food is pound for pound like just better than the Colombian food that's there. There's really cool atmospheres like in the city. There's a place called the Exchange. They have a beautiful atrium, and you eat in this huge like atrium hall where there's these big marble staircases, and it looks like something out of a movie. And there's barbecue places, home style places that you grew up eating, and it really just depends what you got a taste for.
Have you thought about branching outside of Illinois?
Yeah, I think before I started Chicago Food Guide, I took a serious look into California just because of the weather and the pay for teachers
Okay.
is a bit more out there, but the overall just cost of living is really high. I think I think if anybody wanted me to help them out there, I could. It's kind of
Mhm.
like starting all over again, right? Where you have to create an influence in an area and people have to respect your business and they have to respect what you do. So I think just Chicago in terms of the salary you could make here
Mhm.
and the cost of living, including just the city we live in, if you could get past the tough winters sometimes, this place is perfect, right? Like you're not going to make the salary you're going to make and have the expenses you're going to have. It's pretty cheap to live here. I know taxes every now and again are high, but overall prices of things are not as expensive as other parts of the world.
And so, since you've done like lot of traveling, have you started a TikTok where you document the places that you eat at when you're traveling?
I just kind of, not really. I just kind of throw it on Chicago Food Guide on my story. I don't really make like TikToks about them. I try
Okay.
to keep it just straight up Chicago. Um, I think the vacation is the vacation. You know what I mean? I mean, not to say that this job is like a stressful job or anything, but I think maybe when you're on vacation, you don't want to come up with content and stuff, but you do want people to see like that there's really good food out there. So I think when I'm on vacation, I kind of just I keep my responsibilities right. Like I'm responsible for 7 pages that I have to post for weekly. So when I'm on vacation, I'm still posting for those places, but I'm not I'm not really creating a lot of different content for Chicago Food Guide on the travel side. That is an opportunity, though, right? Like showing people all the cool stuff that you could get in Spain and in Portugal and in Cabo and all the cool stuff you could get in Greece and whatnot. And people would love to see that. That might be an idea.
How was
Exactly.
your trip to
Exactly.
Portugal? I saw that you went there not too long ago.
It was great. We went to Lisbon. We went to Spain. We went to like four different places in Spain, and then we
Mm.
went to Portugal because it's right next door. And in Portugal, they have some. It's like a bigger, more European San Francisco, and there's a lot more history. Um, the food was amazing. The weather was it was very hot in that area, but surprisingly in Lisbon it wasn't as hot. But they were like Spain was experiencing in Europe, all of Europe was experiencing an insane heat wave. When we were in Madrid, it was like 115
Damn.
degrees outside. It was insane. You go outside and you need to change after 2 hours because you're
Okay,
just
so
so
it's like hot and humid.
not too humid in
Okay.
Madrid. It's very landlocked, so there's not a lot of water on there. But it was just so hot.
Have you ever paid TikTok to promote your videos?
God no, I don't know. Something about that just seems very like kind of counterintuitive, right? Because if you want to create your own influence, you don't want to pay. But like I said, TikTok might be going in that direction soon enough.
Yeah,
If I had to guess,
it
but
kind of seems
no,
like once
never,
you
not
start
once.
paying them, they're
Or
basically
Instagram.
going to take away your organic growth, to keep you paying them. Exactly.
Exactly. You're a
Um,
slave to the boost.
how do you choose the hashtags that you use?
I Google. I think anything in this world, right? When you don't know something, you Google. I'll look at some other creators and see what videos pop for them. I'll look at some of my videos and see what videos of mine popped. But I even Google like what are the trending hashtags on Instagram right now for food pages, or I'll Google, or else I'll look at TikTok and see what's the most trending hashtag going on right now. Sometimes TikTok even pre-populates it for you. They'll put like, okay, here's the most trending hashtag. Pepsi just came out with their own hashtag, and sometimes I'll use it if it's relevant. So I would definitely say using other resources. Nothing that just comes to my head. It's more like looking at Google, looking at other posts, looking at some of my older posts,
And
things like that.
can you tell us about the first time you got an offer to start managing someone else's account?
Yeah, it was a place in the northwest suburbs in Schaumburg called Interium. We got offered once to a place in Naperville, but just the price and the overall amount of work wasn't worth it. But Interium was our first place, and it was actually the beginning of this year. Really, in January was our first full month working with them, and we still they're still one of our. I mean, they are our favorite client to this day. There's great people that work there. Such a fun place, like gaming, food. I don't know if you've ever seen their TikToks or their Instagram reels. Um, but they're just such a fun place, and we love working with them. We learned so much. I think we got them at about 3,000 followers now, about almost 2,000 on Instagram, and about a little over 1,000 on TikTok. And that's a successful for them, and they're having those.
How different is it running the page on TikTok versus on Instagram as far as getting growth?
I feel like Instagram recently. So when I first started, probably the first 2 years, I had about 4 or 5,000 followers on Instagram. Probably the first 3 years. Then in the past about year, ever since Reels came out, I jumped from like 6, 7,000 followers to about 37 now. So Instagram is really they're trying to get like TikTok, right? And TikTok's trying to get like Instagram, and it's a competition. So I would definitely say Instagram has grown exponentially with the views. They're not as stingy with the views, right? Like there's more.
Have you thought about going on YouTube Shorts?
No,
Yeah,
very shortly because I
yeah, it
saw
seems
another
like
creator do
that's
it,
a pretty big focus
but
on
I haven't
YouTube
thought about it.
at the moment.
I don't know why. I don't know why. For some reason, you ask anyone around my age, you ask anyone under my age, anyone, they're always, oh, I'm just on YouTube, on YouTube, on YouTube. I never use YouTube. I never use it. I don't know why. I only use it when I got to fix something around my house. I mean, that's a missed opportunity for sure, right? That's another social media app that I'm not using. So, but for some reason, I just don't use it. I don't know why. I just, I just don't think it's. I don't know. It's not.
Mm.
It's not very, in my opinion, right? And I'm in the vast minority. I'm like, I'm not. There's not a lot of people that think the way I think. I think it's not as user friendly as TikTok and Instagram. If you want to share a video, it's different. If you want to copy a link, if you want to save it, if you want to do all these different things, it's a little bit harder. And you have to get exit out of a page, and you have to do this,
I,
and it's not as user friendly as Instagram and TikTok. But I have definitely thought about it very
yeah.
briefly because I've seen other creators jump from TikTok and Instagram to YouTube. I didn't see them have a lot of success. I saw one, but he had like 1 million followers on TikTok, so it made sense. It translated. But all the other ones, I never saw them have like any success there. So I don't, it's based on default. If you have an Instagram, you automatically have a Facebook, and I think I like clicked the link, and
Oh, okay.
so I could link the
That's
accounts, but I'm not
kind of
posting anything
interesting.
on Facebook.
Um,
Yeah,
and then to your point
yeah, not a
with
lot of Facebook.
YouTube, I actually was having a conversation with one of my coworkers today, and he basically said that he lost like 3 hours of his time on YouTube just watching the shorts. So I don't know. I think a lot of people are using it now.
Yeah, the cool thing about TikTok and Instagram, and now maybe the YouTube Shorts is, you could just make a video, and then you could lift it to 3, 4 different platforms. So you don't have to do 3 or 4 different videos. You could just take that same video, save it, and just post it with its own caption or hashtags, depending on what social media platform does what with the hashtags and with the captions. So maybe that's something I could do, right? Like I already did the work of creating it on TikTok. Then I already lifted
Yeah,
it to Instagram.
it
Why don't I just
definitely
lift
makes
it
sense to me
over to YouTube
because
Shorts or
you
Facebook?
already have it, and you might be able to make some additional revenue from the views on YouTube.
Exactly, and possibly people seeing, and also just more people seeing our logo, more trustworthy logo it becomes, and they start seeing that there's exposure there, and they can reach out to us. And that's the number one part of the business, really, is email referrals. Everybody just emails us, "Hey, we have this place you want to go to." Well, okay, here's the price, and
And
then they say, "Okay,
earlier you
well, let's do it."
mentioned that you worked with Kind Bar. How was that experience?
Yeah, kind of snack bars. It was good. I mean, they take a long time to pay you because they have to go through a lot of like processes and accounting this and all that kind of stuff. But it was very professional. They work with a marketing agency, and that marketing agency tells you where to go. It was kind of last minute. They were just creating like these new,
Oh, okay.
excuse me, these ice cream bars.
And was Giordano similar too, where it was an ad agency that reached out to you?
Yeah, yeah. It was kind of cool because Giordano's was a kind of like a unique situation where we went to Giordano's, but they also partnered up with the
Hmm.
Sears Tower, or the excuse me, the Willis Tower, the Sky Deck, and it was like a whole eat pizza and then go to the Sky Deck situation. So we did that. We ate the Giordano's pizza and we went to the Sky Deck and we
Did that
took
one
videos. It's
go
kind of cool.
viral
Those are
as well?
it's unique, right? Like pizza and a view. You're not too sure. I think that they got a decent amount of views probably on TikTok. It was definitely when it was cold out last year.
With the TikTok account, what's been the biggest struggle for you?
It's creating original content. You have to find a different song, and you have to put different words and speak different things, and it's when you have to do it 40, 30 times a week, it's like, how do I be original? every day. So it's creating the content. You ask any content creator, that's the hardest part of the job. Is it's not eating the food, right? That's like the easiest part. Even taking the videos isn't too hard either. But there's two things, right? It's depending on where you live is driving. If you drive like an hour just to get to the place. And then the real, time consuming thing is the creating the original content, right? Like making sure it's easily digestible, and then when you post it and it doesn't go off and you put some work into it and you're like, man, what happened? But then you put like no work into a video, but you post it and it goes off and you're like, what the fuck, how did that happen?
What what tips do you have for someone that's interested in making content?
Just do something you like, right? If you do something you like, you're not gonna get stressed out over it because you're doing it anyway, because it's something you do for free anyway. um Look at what other people are doing. Make sure you're taking the time to see what, if you're a food influencer, look at what other food influencers are doing, not only in Chicago but in New York, in Los Angeles, in Denver, wherever it may be. Look at what other people are doing in your area of expertise and take something from each person, right? Like, oh, you see they use this text or they use these hashtags or they use this, like just take it all, put your own little spin on it, but use what's worked. Even as a teacher, right? I use lesson plans that
Mhm.
other teachers have created because it works, right? The whole point is to educate children. So if it works for someone else, it's going to work for you. So don't be too prideful and think you have to create your own path or do something, right? Learn from other people's experience, and then be consistent. Very, be very consistent. When I first started, I was literally my buddy
Very
Ramsey,
good guy.
right? John, you know him. Just told me like follow a bunch of people. Yeah, great guy. He just says follow a bunch of people, follow a bunch of people. And I followed a shit ton of people. So many people that I got blocked every now and again. Right? They thought I was a robot. They thought I was just following a bunch of people. So I would follow a bunch, follow a bunch. It was a very draining way to grow a following, but that's what got my first 1,000, and then that's what got my next 1,000. But after that, the videos on TikTok really took off, and the reels. But it was a lot of legwork. So just be ready to kind of do a little bit each day to get better. Like I would literally follow 100 people every morning, and then I go to work, and 100 people every day. I would just follow a bunch of people just so that they could see my name, they could see my logo. I would interact with people, comment, likes, all this stuff.
Mhm.
So like 50, 100 people, right? Like so everybody thinks a two-word comment is nothing, but when you do it 50, 60 times, it fucking sucks. But that's the way you get to know people. Social media is like real life. What's the number one way to know someone in real life?
By just talking to them, interacting with them.
Exactly, right? So how do you do that in social media? You follow them, you comment, you like, and then if you really want to get intimate and you want to get right in their face, you DM them, right? So that's the way social media is. You just got to be very consistent and do the stuff that might be a little boring every now and again, but just do it. And if you do every day, you do just a little thing.
And the final question that I have for you, what are the future plans for the Chicago Food Guide?
I would like to get some more clients to manage their pages. 7 is good, right? And me and my girl, we handle that. She does about 4 of our clients' content. She's a very creative video editor, and she takes care of 4. And I think, and right now I'm in terms of the client side, I'm taking care of 3, and also Chicago Food Guide. So we both got 4 pages each. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Clients, we do the Facebook too. So I would say just grow to some more clients. I still want to be a teacher. I feel like making money is great, and it's very very freeing, right? Like you get a lot of freedom when you have money. But I feel like God He put us on this earth not to just worry about ourselves. I feel like we need to give back in some type of way. And I feel like when I teach, that's kind of what I'm doing. So I don't think I want the business to be so big that I'm forced to quit my full time job, because I don't feel like my full time job is something that stresses me out. Yeah, I mean, I have rough days. Like, getting up at 4 or 5 in the morning every day is not easy, and going to sleep early when people are going out and having fun all the time is not. It's not easy. But I want to find a good balance of Chicago Food Guide and also, helping the kids. Especially, I mean, I teach in the high school that I went to, so I feel like I'm really giving back to myself that I was when I was young, right? Like all the great teachers I had that helped me become who I am today. I want to be that for a student that I was, right? I see myself in a lot of the kids I have. So I think the future is more something that gives me the freedom, right, to go travel and to take care of my home and to have extra money for my family and to be able to pay things off faster so I'm not in debt and all that. But it's also something nice that I don't think I want it to take too much of my life, but it very well could be, right? And if it is, and that's what God's telling me, I'm going to do it. But I think right now, I have a purpose teaching, especially the Arabic speaking kids who are new to the country and they need a nice person to, and even a little bit of a stern person to teach them the way and how to get what they want in life.
It's awesome, man.
Oh,
Thank you for your time, Amin. We're a little bit over an hour. I definitely appreciate you coming on.
no problem, man. No problem. Thank you for having me. It's things like this kind of help me reflect. I think reflection is huge in self growth, right? You got to be able to just look back at your journey and say, this is where I fucked up, and this is where I'm doing good, and this is where maybe I'm headed. So I love the way you ended that podcast, this podcast, just by asking me what's next.
I mean, thank you for coming
Jose, you're still
on.
here,
We
man?
love
What
your
the
Uh,
fuck?
videos.
yeah, you
Keep
just
making
want me to
them.
struggle through it. It's all right.
Oh, my bad. I was in the background.